Welcome, everybody, to WTF, and that's what the FixedOPS marketing. Really excited about our podcast today. I have my co-host, Charity Dunning, sitting right next to me, and a phenomenal guest, Michael Drexel with Ancira Volkswagen. So this is going to be an exciting episode. Michael, welcome to WTF.
Russell, Charity, thanks a lot for having me today. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, let me, I don't really know. Nobody knows about you. So, I wanted to kind of talk about our theme today. We're addressing problems and finding solutions. That's what we're about. I think all of us have been in management for quite some time. And if somebody's bringing a problem or challenge to you, it's always nice if they also have some kind of solution instead of just dumping a problem on you. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, fully agree. That's the worst thing that can happen. You have to manage by the seat of your pants that way, and you don't have the upper hand or the advantage. So you're exactly right.
Well, I know you know all about that. Here's what I'd like you to do, Michael. Tell us about yourself, your dealership, how many stores, how many people do you manage, and how long have you been in FixedOPS? Just tell us a little bit about Michael Drexel, if you don't mind.
Sure, no problem. I started out in fixed operations at a dealership level about 16 years ago in Nashville, Tennessee. Worked for a large dealer group there, worked my way up through the ranks as a service advisor, and then a service manager, then a fixed operations director for the group. That was a large organization. There was a lot of bringing in some other dealerships. There was a little over 700 fixed operation employees that I managed at that point. Wow. So it was a big undertaking there. But family obligations and some different desires came our way, and we decided to relocate from Nashville down to San Antonio 2 years ago. And I've had the fortunate aspect of landing with a fantastic dealer group, Ancira, here in San Antonio. And so my footprint is a little smaller. I've got 53 people that I manage in fixed operations now. Right. In parts and service, advisors, porters, and the supporting cast for that. But the challenges are the same, whether you got 753 or 53. The challenges really are the same, no matter the size and the scope. Ancira owns and operates 9 rooftops, and I facilitate the fixed operations parts and service for our Volkswagen location. So
tell us a little bit about the challenges. You touched a little bit on it, because it doesn't matter if you're running a lot of stores and a lot of people, or even what you're doing right there with some of the experience you have in the past. Do you have any distinct examples of what you face, being a fixed operations director for a store like that?
Absolutely. And I think that a lot of service directors or fixed operations directors or managers, for that matter, there's the 3 P's: people, process, profit. That is what you fight every single day. Doesn't matter. Your challenge will always be people, profit, and process. And what you try to do is you try to mitigate it, and you try to set yourself up for success and give your people a directive process to be able to make an acceptable profit within your dealer. And sure. you try to intelligently maneuver within that parameter. And again, 700, 800 people, 1,000 people, or 50 people, you're still mitigating those 3 P's. And what you try to do as an operations director, as a manager, is try to mitigate that and set yourself up for success in those areas.
Sure. No, that's great. So are you a family man, Michael?
Oh, absolutely. I've got a wonderful wife, and I don't know where I'd be without her. She's my supporting cast. She's my That's backbone. Great. And her name's Linda, and I wouldn't, I couldn't imagine being as successful as I am without her. I'm also fortunate. I've got 2 grown sons and 4 wonderful grandchildren.
So that's very sweet.
It is. It's incredible. 2 boys, 2 girls. So we got a good mix there. So my life is a full circle. I have 0 complaints whatsoever.
Oh, I've met you. This isn't our first encounter. So I've
Right.
met you in person, and you are very passionate about what you do and how you're doing it, and your people, just like you are about your family. What gives you passion about your career?
The passion about my career, and you can go into it thinking what's in it for me, and you'll fail. Period. That's just the way it's what's in it for me, and you're not gonna be successful. My passion comes from when I can take a group of people that may have not followed a process correctly, or I start a new project or something like that, and I can watch them develop and build their confidence and build their empower them to become professionals. There's a difference between occupying a space and becoming a professional. I find complete enjoyment in watching those people grow, watching my staff grow, watching them become the next manager, watching them get tapped on the shoulder and become the next leader someplace because of what I was able to help them navigate. And that's exciting for me, is the daily change. And the great thing about fixed operations, and every manager that's ever been in fixed operations, you can change one thing and tweak it today, and you will see a result tomorrow. And that is exciting.
True.
It doesn't take forever to see a result. You've got an effective labor rate that needs adjustment, make a tweak, and guess what? Tomorrow you're going to see a difference. So that's what's exciting about it. So my passion comes from the ever changing and the ability to change. And it's just so gratifying to watch your supporting cast around you just become successful because you put them in a great arena.
That makes a really true leader. If you help enough other people get what they want, you get what you want. But I mean, the satisfaction, even you saying what you just did, the level of passion that you displayed in your voice as you said it is really amazing. That's really a difference maker. So thank you very much for sharing that.
Michael, you sound like the type of manager that a lot of people would like to have. What kind of management style would you say, just in general, is your style?
Well, I like to, I'm engaged, but not micromanage. I like to be engaged. And just today, just for example, today, I had noticed that one of my advisors was slipping just a little bit. His data wasn't quite where it used to be, and his engagement wasn't quite where it used to be. So I knew he wasn't himself. So what I did is I paused just a second and I said, hey, how are things? How are things looking? Is there anything that we could sit down and maybe you need to unload off your chest? Let's have a cup of coffee. Let's step back from the job for a second. I want to be able to let them understand that it's okay to be a human being in this business. It's not all about trying to push a boulder up a hill, because sometimes you just got to step out of the way and let somebody else take the burden for a second. But you have to understand it enough to know when to step in and say, it's okay to feel the way you do. Let's step back, let's brush the dirt off, and let's go back after it again and have a clearer mind, but understand that I'm behind you 100%. So I guess my style as far as leadership goes is I try to build myself as a compassionate leader that I will support my people and put them in a position to be successful at all costs.
Man, that is phenomenal. I know, it's really all about people and relationships, isn't it, Michael?
It is. You're exactly
And
right.
I'm sure they appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Very much.
People do not care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Exactly right.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. Well, I know, Michael, we are vendors and you're a dealership. How do you sort of approach vendor relationships? I'm sure you get bombarded by them.
Oh, God, yeah.
So
That's a
how
great
do you
one, Charity.
approach
Yeah.
those? They're necessities, of course, but they're also, there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Vendors have a place within dealerships. They absolutely do. And there's a lot of functions that we cannot do without them. So there has to be a relationship, and there has to be an understanding. Is this vendor out for my best interest or their best interest? And you have to know the difference. You have to know the difference. And once you feel comfortable that vendor is out for your best interest, then you begin to unpack it and you begin to look at some different things. Now, what is it you offer? What is it that you're going to do? I don't want to hear the freebie. I don't want to hear the if if we roll this out and you don't get 5 times your ROI back, then I'll give you all your money back and I'll walk away. And I was like, well, there's a lot of effort and a lot of things to do to get to that point.
True.
I would much rather shake hands with you, unpack it, see where we are, know that it's going to work, feel confident it's going to work, and then let it go and let it do its thing and stay engaged with it. Which fortunately, I can proudly say that that's what I have in FixedOPS with you guys. That's what I have. You guys are in touch with that. And I felt it right away when I met Russell, that this was something that we needed to move forward with, and really kind of see what layers we can add that are going to benefit us the best. So vendors are tricky to navigate, but you got to understand that there are some out there that want to be your partner.
Yeah, that's and thank you for sharing that. I've had some talks about this, but you've seen a lot of products, and some of them work, some of them don't. Some of them require too much hands-on, and nobody really has the time. I know that, I was running dealerships when websites first, came on the scene in 1996. And of course, it was still AOL dial-up modem back then. Some people don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. But, obviously they've evolved quite a bit. But you and I both know where they haven't really evolved on a dealership's website is service, parts, and accessories. Now, again, somebody needs to management, but the engagement really wasn't what it should have been. And it's still that way today, not on your site, but people go to sites, they can't find what they're looking for. There's not much education. There's no real inherent SEO or SEM value. They can't convert. They might be able to print or do something like that. So when we first met and you saw our stuff, is there any one thing or a couple of things that may stand out that was what was significantly different? And had you ever seen anything like this before? Yeah, let me ask that one.
Okay. No, I hadn't seen anything like it before. And like you were saying earlier in the conversation, you had to manage your marketing. And for a fixed ops manager or a service manager that is dealing with the daily deluge of information that comes their way, if you forget and you don't properly market, then you send the wrong message for a landing site. Do you visit your website? Does somebody do it in your behalf? Are you the one doing it? So there's a lot of questions to understand when you're trying to market. And when I did see what your product offered, I was like, this is a game changer. This isn't just a marketing platform. This is a game changer.
Now, let me make this perfectly clear, Michael. We paid you nothing to say that, right?
Absolutely right.
Okay.
You should have, because I'm banking on what we've got going on. So
right.
That way, we're reaping the benefit. And I'll elaborate on what I mean by that. It's a game changer, by the way, is the content is clear. It's educational. There's videos attached with it, right? What else can you do with this? Now, you showed me when you got here and you and I met personally, and you said, Mike, I want to meet you personally, and I want to show you what my product will do. And you spent the time with me and you showed me, but there was one key thing that I have unpacked and went outside the box and did with this platform. And it absolutely is paying dividends, and it's so exciting. These items that are listed on our webpage that you land on, you can have, well, let's just say it's a brake service, right?
Sure.
It's going to have a video in it, and we can customize it. We can put a discount on it, or we can just share our information. We can look like an intelligent company and share our information. We don't necessarily have to make a loss leader over it, right? We can make it informational. Now I see this email and text box that's down there, right? So I've got customers that are waiting in my lounge, and all of a sudden a recommendation comes by during the multi-point inspection. My advisor keys in on that, and he texts that information to that customer waiting in the lounge. And guess what happens? That customer walks into the service drive and says, hey, I just got this text. I said, absolutely. I was getting ready to come to you to talk to you about your brakes, but I wanted to make sure you had the correct information about it. And by the way, we value your business enough that we offered a little bit of a discount. If you're willing to do business with us, the technician's ready to make a move.
That's great.
You want to talk about conversion? That's conversion. We actually took it one step further. Okay.
Oh, tell us about that.
One step further. One step further is that every appointment that's in our DMS system, the date, like tomorrow, all of my advisors came in today, got onto our website, looked at all the coupons that you guys have developed for us with the videos, goes through the service history of their customers coming in with maintenance, and then text them correspondence to have a conversation tomorrow when they show up in the drive. And guess how that conversation goes? I went over your service history before your visit, and I wanted to send you some information based on mileage-based services. And if I can help you with that, I've reserved technician time to get that done. How can I help you with that? You want to talk about success? That is huge. That's not a I mean, if that's not a marketing tool, I don't know what it is.
That's wonderful. That's how it's supposed to be.
It is, Charity, isn't it?
Exciting.
That's how the product is supposed to be used. And you're really embracing that. And you do your results when you do that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I really think I really enjoyed what you just said. So yes, this is not only for the typical consumer coming to your website to get engaged and find what they're looking for, as well as get educated, but this is for your advisors. Advisors can use it for third-party validation and to make the process smoother. And they talk to them about recommended maintenance, and you have a video that backs it up. Not just he or she as an advisor making suggestions or advising your customers, but to also reinforce that so they understand a little more. That's powerful, Michael. I wish everybody did that.
Well, I go back to the same, when you asked me that question, what are the problems I face? Well, the 3 Ps, people, process, profit.
Right.
What did I just plug in? I'm able to empower my people to have the confidence to be able to go through a process to hopefully boost our profit. And it's very simple, and it's already there in front of us, and it's every day. So when we log into the DMS, we log into our manufacturer site. We also log into our website that has our marketing tools right there, and we use all three of them all day long.
That's amazing. That's absolutely wonderful.
It really is. So, let's think here. I was thinking that, and I don't know, I'm not putting you on the spot. If you have some information, be helpful. If not, we can certainly move on. But what you saw prior, I mean, you got your hands and, and delegating and all different kinds of things going on during the course of the day, more than most people know unless they have a position like yours. But has it made a difference with your additional lines for your ROs that you're writing? Because I mean, you correct me if I'm wrong, at least nationally, I know that most people that stop into a dealership every day are there for oil changes, and the service scheduling process online sometimes can be very, very dismal. So in these areas, has it helped? And is there any quantifiable numbers that you would like to or may know about that, for a fact, not only the aesthetics, the looks and what it does, but has it made an impact here versus here? And just double checking.
The information that is available for the customer to be educated and knowledgeable, and the process that I just shared with you all about how we get it from our website into the hands of a customer that may be a prospect of coming in or already has a booked appointment. Based on that, we have 60% increased our lines of maintenance. And it could be something as simple as informing about a rotate and balance. Okay, so in Volkswagen world, they don't support rotates and balance in their maintenance schedules. It's not even a topic, right? But we all know it should be done, or you're going to wear your tires out, right? So we would not be doing the customer a service if we didn't mention that. So the customer's living in the world of a 5K, 10K, 20K, whatever it may be. So we notice that and recognize that. But one of the topics that we don't talk about is having the tires rotated, balance, alignment, whatever it may be. So we forward this information to them. And what I can tell you is that we have an increase of over 60% in those services alone.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Just by opening the conversation that they should be done. They're not supported by your maintenance plan in Volkswagen, but you and I both know, Mr. Customer, that the roads in San Antonio, the heat, and leaving a tire in one position for very long is going to be expensive down the road. For this minimal investment, we can help you overcome that. And it's just a recommendation. That's why I sent it to you earlier. And they appreciate it. And we get more yeses than nos, which goes back to the people and process. They're confident to deliver that message. And this has helped us get there.
That's awesome.
Well, thank you very much. It also helps with customer retention. I would think just because of the experience the confident in how your advisors and what they're saying and how they're saying it and building value in what they're doing and helping with the overall experience? Do you see a difference, or maybe not long enough, but I think as dealerships or somebody in your position, there's a certain level of a defection rate after so many years. And some of the things you just spoke about with alignments and tires and rotates and balances, et cetera, those are really imperative, I think, and I want to know what you think about the long-term, defection of helping stop that, because they're actually, instead of going to a national chain, because of so for example, I really believe, if you don't have staggered tires and wheels, but I believe if someone routinely rotates and balances and checks the tire inflation, et cetera, there would be no reason to get 2 tires. Right. You would get all 4 at the same, right?
Right. Well, yeah. Agree. So you're doing it, but you're not getting 2 tires at 30,000 miles. You're getting 4 tires at 60,000 miles. So the span of time between needing them and having any investment whatsoever, because those things are so expensive now.
Oh yeah.
And what's the point of spending it if you didn't have to? And we wouldn't be doing our job. We're doing a disservice, which we're forcing our customer to go someplace else if we don't have this conversation. So it's not in the maintenance manual from the manufacturer, but we know as an industry that this needs to happen. Mm-hmm. And we would be doing a disservice to the customer if we did not mention it, and we didn't have a way of doing it other than presenting it in an upsell fashion, which is very adversarial at point, depending on how it comes out, because it almost looks like you're trying to set them up for a money grab. Mm-hmm. But if you send information saying, hey, we just want to protect your tires, protect your investment, keep you from having to buy them for $24, we can rotate them for you, and it's going to save you thousands down the road, and it's going to be a whole lot better for you. As long as I got the information in your hand, is really all it is. You got the full decision to do what you need to do. And the employees and the service staff that I have is so confident and comfortable with delivering that way, because it's already been pre-set up.
Oh yeah.
Right.
They're ready to put the line on the repair order and get the work done. They don't have to wonder if it's going to be sold or not. It's the conversation's already been started 24 hours ago.
That's amazing. That was my next question, is how did your service advisors embrace taking on, here's a video, or here's this service that you need? How do they warm up to it?
They had 2 words. This is cool, or 3 words. This is cool. and I could use this and different things. And I said, one of the things that we need to do before we do anything with the customers, we need to try it out on ourselves. So let's text it to ourselves. Let's email it to ourselves. Let's see how we receive it. And would you be comfortable getting this if you knew you had an appointment tomorrow and you got this information? Would you feel comfortable saying they're out for my best interest? There is 100% chance that I will continue to do business with these people because of that. Mm-hmm. And we have to look for an opportunity, because there are so many people out there that surround a dealership that want to take our opportunity from us for a cheaper reason, for a quicker solution. But we know as a dealership that we're not the quickest and we're not the cheapest, but we are the best solution for long-term value for your vehicle. We've got your service history on file.
Oh yeah.
We communicate with you on a regular basis. We've got the best technicians in the business for your product. We've got the best product to put on your vehicle, and we've got the best way to inform you and keep you engaged. We don't need you going anywhere. And when you get ready to trade that car in, and I can print off your service history for my used car sales manager, you don't think you're going to get top dollar? Well, you will. Because
those are tremendous value statements that you just mentioned.
Shows a lot of integrity, Mike.
It really does. Yeah.
There's not very many people that'll go through their own customer's journey on the outside and the inside.
Right.
And I'm sure customers very much appreciate that.
Absolutely.
We want to keep them here.
Do you see particularly in the last couple of years, COVID, et cetera, do you see a paradigm shift taking place where somebody like you is there other people that think like you do out there, where they say, look, things are going to have to change, because for every, not my numbers, but NADA says that for every franchise dealers like yourself, there's 16 non-franchise entities that are jockeying for that business, and they know dealerships have been sleeping at the wheel for years, particularly with what they have on their website, et cetera, and how they're being treated. But I don't care if it's Valvoline, Pep Boys, Jiffy Lubes. I mean, they're out there everywhere. But I recently was talking to a customer that got an oil change at a Valvoline, place, and it was actually less money at the dealership than it was at the Valvoline. Do you see that kind of stuff too? I mean, is it just a re-education, or what's going on here?
We do, and there is a misconception out there that dealerships are more expensive, and that's been out there for as long as I've been in the business. It's always been that way. Don't go to the dealer; it's too expensive to get it done. And what we do is we stumble and stammer and all these things while dealing with a customer that we've actually over the years have made it very difficult to do business with. The customer finds it very difficult to do business at a dealership. If you stop and look at the process of coming in, porters, advisors, technicians, dispatcher, I'll just go through the whole chain of custody with a customer's visit. If we can simplify it, clarify it, set an expectation up front, empower our staff up front, 87% of the people that come in, and I know this for a fact on the survey itself because I've been monitoring this, 87% of all bad surveys comes from the time spent at a dealership and not fixed right the first time. 13% is money and people. Okay, so they're willing to come in and spend. They're willing to come in and visit you as long as you hold your end of the bargain. And like you said before, is that dealerships have gotten nice and comfy cozy because they're selling a bunch of cars, and the customers are coming back, and it's just kind of like, we just don't have the capacity for it. We're just so busy. We can't get you in, and it's going to be, get on some of these people's websites and try to book an appointment. You're week, 10 days.
Or more.
That's preposterous to be 14 days out to get an oil change. You're begging someone to take your customer from you. And you have to be proactive to mitigate that and set yourself up, because the way it's always been done is probably the oldest phrase and the most detrimental phrase in the car business right now. So you better get ahead of the game right now and start thinking outside the box, or you will find customers that will find somewhere else to get it done. They're not interested in saving money. They're not interested in worrying about those other things. They just want it done right, and they want it done in a timely manner. Their time is more valuable to them than what they're spending.
Kudos.
That's the way it should be, right? Everybody's
exactly
time
right.
is non-renewable resource that we all need.
Absolutely.
Have you seen any other changes, Mike, across the last 2 years? I don't want to say the word, but we've all seen quite a big shift of working at home and different social etiquette and things. Have you seen anything in the automotive space that's changed quite significantly?
I think it's happened for us. I'm not going to speak for everyone, but for us, it's happened so uniformly that I think everybody knew what we were dealing with for the past 2 years. And what we hear, see, and live on a daily basis, we've all shifted together in unison. And what we've done is we've realized that there has to be a mutual respect for how you want to have business done with you. So we're going to be flexible. And we understand that flexibility is going to be key at this point. And if somebody calls and has a special request, I really don't want to make contact with someone. Well, we're going to go through and we're going to make sure that we want to honor that for you. And over the past 2 years, there's been changes, but your willingness to ride the wave with the people that come and do business with you and trust you, allow yourself that to happen, and you'll all get to where you need to go together. And so the changes, yes, we've changed, but nothing on our end that other people on the outside as a customer wasn't dealing with to begin with. So they're feeling there's customers apologizing to us. We're so sorry that you guys have to deal with this and wipe these cars down and do this. And I know that the expense and the added staff and just dealing with people like, it's not all the time, but there's people that actually genuinely care about our experience as well. So that everybody's kind of going through it together. So we're just in this journey together, and we're not isolated. We're not one off. We're not special. We're going through it just like you, and we're going to do what we can to make sure that we honor your request and service the way that you want to be. We want to do business with you the way you want to have business done.
Great question, Charity. Great question.
And I have another one. Are you guys hiring right now? And if there are people out there watching that are interested in getting into this line of work, do you have anything that you have?
We're always hiring. This industry never has a cap on hiring talented people or people willing to become part of this industry. And I'm always willing to train, teach, and coach someone to get into this industry. Now, we've had people that came in that wanted to be service writers, and 2 years later, ended up selling cars, but they're still in the industry. They just found their passion, and we opened the door for them to find their passion. We've got porters that are technicians. We've got technicians that are service managers. So we're always hiring and moving, and there's a piece of the puzzle that is out there in our country somewhere that if they wanted to join our team, that we would find a place for them, whether it's parts, service, sales, accounting, whatever it may be. There's always a place for talented people in this industry that are willing to learn and open themselves up for the next step.
It's real. Yeah, absolutely. I know that, of course, you're located in the San Antonio area, and with the listeners we have, if you know somebody, but here, I know that, so let's say the numbers may have changed a little bit, but we know people that have gone to college, and I'm nothing wrong with that. I'm a proponent of education, but I mean, you go get a 4-year degree and you come out heavily debt laden, and 92%, and 92% of those people don't even work in the field they got a degree in that they owe all this money to. So, and then the average salary of somebody like that, it's probably equal to or higher in the automotive industry as an advisor. And I'm saying, do you need a college education to write service, et cetera, or no?
No, you don't. You just have to have a passion for communicating with people. Anything else can be taught. One thing I can't tell you how to operate is your honest, ethical, legal, and moral behavior.
I love it.
That you would have, that you were born with, and you were instilled by your mom and dad as you were growing up. You come with those set of soft skills. The rest of it can be taught.
Yeah.
So
I'm a big believer in that too, Mike. Yeah. I think passion is something you cannot teach. And if you can find someone with that kind of passion, you can teach them everything else. But you can't teach passion.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm curious with our reporting tool, and when you first started getting those numbers, did anything surprise you in the level of either text or emails or people that, scheduled service or called, et cetera, that text themselves the video, et cetera? Is there anything that surprised you? Just out of curiosity?
Yeah. In the old days, well before being able to get the communication to where I know someone poked on one of my offers and saved it to their phone or saved it to their email, and I know who this person is, and I can go and research them, and I can actually either reach out to them and call them and say, hey, appreciate you doing that. Can I make you an appointment if they didn't? And we stay so engaged now because we have this piece of information, where before it's a static flat piece on your website that somebody looks at, and the click-through was probably less than 10% that would click through and actually book an appointment. And then you don't even know if they booked an appointment for that particular service. You have zero idea. So here's the surprise that I got is I get the notifications when somebody saves. And you may have seen my eyes wander a couple of times because I've got my desktop up and I've already received 17 emails of saved services that we offer since you and I have been talking already.
That's awesome.
Looking at them, and if I was to say, how am I surprised of that? I'm surprised that the reaction is that many. And was I losing all those people before? How were they getting to me before, and what message were we sending before? So
that's interesting.
What was the message before, and was it happening at that level before? I don't know, because I never got the feedback.
Yeah, and you didn't
No,
have the
I didn't have
data.
any feedback. It was just something on the website and hope to goodness that they were clicking on it. But if they weren't clicking on it, you didn't know. But now I know, and it was the 18. I just got another
And
one.
You're providing value now. You're providing educational content, not just, come to our store, people are appreciating it, and therefore they're converting.
True.
Right. You got service managers that are out there, and some of these young guys and girls that are out there taking these seats on. It's a huge undertaking, and generally they got promoted because, for one, the spot opened up and they were the best performing service writer out there. So the GM goes and taps them on the shoulder and says, "Good news, Billy retired and you're taking over the spot. So good luck to you. And here you go. And I need the forecast on my desk the day before the end of the month. So here you go. See you later." So what happens is that you're navigating this stuff, and you think you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to save the day. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to market something. I'm going to hop on my website here, and I'm going to say, I'm going to do some 1995 oil changes. And boy, wait till they see that RO count that I put out there for that.
Mhm.
And I'm sitting there thinking, you have just demoralized your
Yes,
life.
right.
You have just dissected everything that you stand for and what the purpose of this business is. And you have totally disempowered your entire service writing staff, because they're going to get beat up with bottom feeders on a loss leader that is going to just gouge your profit to pieces. And you're going to have high RO count, and everything else is going to look like it fell apart. So when you put something on, you're gonna put something static out there that's going to have a price on it, and that's it. It's static. It's a cartoon character. It means nothing.
Yep. Right.
So
Man,
with my website, I can put out there that the alignment is what the alignment is. I can put the full price out there, but guess what I get to do? I get to do other things with it to move it around, to build its value, to educate, inform, and empower. And that is exciting. And it doesn't have to be for half of what I do it for.
no,
Right.
So many people I talk to out there, and I have to educate them. And you just did it without me even asking you. Okay. The better job you do at building value, the less objection there is to price, right? Which you just clearly stated. These 19. So some people think when I'm talking to them, Russell, we don't want to have that. We don't believe in losing money on us. Well, coupons and or specials have a positive connotation. Just that you don't have to lose money at $19.95, and you can charge whatever the regular price is. The perceived value of the education process, the ease and use of how to navigate on the website or to engage with the service department, et cetera, is enough value in itself. It's no big deal. 49, 69, 89 for synthetic if you do conventional, semi-synthetic, or so on. So thank you for bringing that. That was powerful, Michael.
Yep.
Yeah, you're definitely using the product as it is intended.
Right.
So you're seeing great results from it that way.
Wow. Yeah, that was great. And are you going to NADA?
No, unfortunately.
That was my question, Russell.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. Go ahead. Yes, are you going to NADA?
Damn it. I hate it when it happens.
I've been a couple of times, but I'm not going to make it this year.
Not this year.
Not this year.
Okay.
Is your
ahead.
dealership group going to be there, or just not you?
No, I believe that my dealership groups, the executives will actually go. And I think that now that's my belief. I haven't heard 100% that they are going, but they have gone in the past, and they're my owner group is president of the Dealer Association for San Antonio. So I'm sure that their engagement well beyond that platform will carry to NADA. So I'm gonna assume at least a couple of them are going.
Okay, gotcha. Well, I look forward to meeting you at some point in the future.
Yes.
In person.
Yes, absolutely. Gosh, we've covered a lot of ground. This has been really, really amazing. I was wondering, well, if managers, the people that are listening to this, because just the value that you've brought to this podcast, would it be okay if they had your information or your email address to email you and reach out?
Absolutely. Email me with your questions. Email me with anything you want. If you want to email me and then put your personal phone number in there and have a one-on-one, I'll be more than happy to have a conversation with you.
That's great. That's great.
And what is your email, Michael?
It's michael.drexel@ancira.com.
Spell Drexel, would you?
Sure. DREXEL.
Oh, hell, just as it sounds.
It's pretty
Yeah.
easy.
Pretty.
And is there anything that you'd like to share that we've missed?
Well, I mean, again, earlier in the conversation, we talked about vendors and we talked about relationships and we talked about being able to navigate the in it for yourself and then in it for us. And it is evident, and I'm here as an advocate for fixed ops marketing, that you guys are in it for us, for the people that work it, not for the owners, not for the general managers. When this came out, this was Russell said, how do I get to the guy on the ground? All right. He was pushing people out of the way to get to talk to me. All right. And he wanted to get my buy-in and then run it up the chain. And he was asking me, what do you think? What do you think? Because he's engaged. He knows exactly who's going to be using it and working with it and either getting their head punched in or getting their hand shaped. So, I appreciate you for doing that. It let me know that you guys were in it for us. And what I can tell you is that we have fun with it and it's a good time. And I've actually got some contests out there for the guys that can do
wow.
best. So I do want to share one thing with you all.
Sure.
In October, we had your solution in October. Is that right?
Yes.
So with that solution, and I started unpacking some of the methods that we were using as I described earlier. Well, our owner group is very passionate about supporting our community. So we were giving $10 for every alignment done at our dealer groups. So all 9 dealers would do alignments, and they would donate $10 off of every one of those alignments as a supporting for San Antonio Food Bank and some different things like that, which we got behind. Huge. So anyway, we have kind of an anomaly here. Our service drive is on an angle, so we can't put alignment check machines in here. It's all discussion and multi-point, right?
Sure.
So when all that was going on, we generally do, I'd say 65 to 100 alignments a month. All right. And with our RO count. So we have a decent penetration with alignments that are there on customer pay alignments. So this kicked out and I said, all right, challenge accepted, because there was something in it for the guy that won, the guy or girl that won the dealership. So I wasn't really so much in it for that, but I love a competition.
Oh, hell, I know you do.
So the day before, it was the end of September, 2 of our very large stores put in drive-through alignment checkers from Hunter. They were completed, right? So the customer would drive through and all of a sudden this beautiful text would pop up. You need an alignment, you need an alignment. And the advisors go to work and show it to them and say, here you go. So here we are, a little Volkswagen store. We're the 4th largest. So out of the 9, we're number 4 in the group. So we're not small by any means, but we're not as big as some of the heavy hitters. And our RO count's less than 1/3 of some of the heavy hitters. And long story short, we ended up winning the contest with over 292 alignments that we had sold. And we used the technique of sending the information to the people due an alignment to them prior to their appointment. So the results of that was, this conversation had already been started. We modify the appointment to put an asterisk in that appointment to identify. We sent a text. The advisor says, did you get that text I sent you earlier about your alignment? And they said, yeah, absolutely. Well, we got time, ready to get it done. Go ahead and get it done. Almost 300 alignments. The next one closest to us did 560 more repair orders, and we outsold them by 75 alignments.
Oh,
wow.
wonderful.
They had the alignment check machine. So that story that I'm able to share, and I can attribute it to the forward thinking and how the system can be used and how it worked to our benefit.
Man, thank you.
That's
This has been great. And thank you for those comments, and especially giving back to community in that way. That's a substantial sum. And if you looked at all 9 dealerships, $10, I mean, that's a substantial amount given back to the community. And I know, just because I know the San Antonio area, Ancira has been around a long time and are extremely involved in the community. So I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you so much. It's just been an amazing podcast. I don't really have really anything else. Charity, you?
Yeah, I mean, you have reminded me that we are speaking or presenting at an upcoming show, and you've touched on a lot of topics that we're touching on there, different ways to use these tools in order to use it for upselling, to educate your customers. And, so you provided quite a few real world stories too, with data that we can hopefully, if you don't mind, use to show, if the solution is used properly, you really can see some pretty significant results off of it.
Yeah.
So
it's incredible. It's fun to use. And like I say, going back to the people, process, and profit, you can surround yourself with technology. You can surround yourself with vendors and ones that promise the world to you and different things like that. But you have to understand, what is your goal? What is your goal? What do you want to do? And when I sat there and I saw this and I said, well, I could do this with it. Oh, wait a minute, I could do this with it. Hang on a second, I can do this with it. And all of a sudden I'm interacting with something that used to just sit in the background, that it would be forgot about, and say, your general manager gets on your website and looks at, you're going to update your coupons? They expired 4 days ago. And you're like, oh my God, so you don't have to do that. It's live. You guys are engaged. You're engaged with the manufacturer. So it's working, it's doing what it has to do, and it's prompted us to be in it every single day. So stale content never happens.
that's
Good.
amazing.
One last thing I'd like to say in closing, because I know everybody's got to get on with their day. Michael, and once again, thank you so much for your time and your talents and et cetera. As far as one thing we haven't talked about, but support. Do you feel like you're supported? If you need something or you need to make some changes, would you say that the support is a pretty significant part of, being able to get something done or taken care of? I'm just curious.
Yeah, it almost happens too fast, because I get a live body on the other end. I said to make a change, and they say, okay, refresh, and then it's done. I mean,
Yeah, right.
it's that quick. I mean, and it really helps with what we're struggling with as a dealership,
Sure.
keeping fresh, clear, informative content in the presence of our guests that want to click in and do business with us. Give them a reason to do business, but the support that we have it's there when we need it, and it's very quickly resolved if we did have a problem.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
That's wonderful, Mike.
Charity,
Mike, you're a really creative, hands-on guy,
Indeed.
and we've really had a good time talking with you today.
Yeah.
Me too. I had a good
Great.
time myself. I appreciate y'all for
Yeah.
having me.
Thank you, Michael Drexel with Ancira Volkswagen. Charity, thank you so much. I know all of you out there are wondering, where in the heck is little Nico? I don't know. Charity, where's little Nico?
We have a snow day here, so he's off with his dad. So it's just us today.
That's sweet. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in to another episode of WTF, and that's what the FixedOPS marketing with the phenomenal guest of Michael Drexel. Michael, thank you once again. Appreciate your time.
My pleasure, guys. Have a good one. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you, Mike. Have a good
All right.
day.
All right. Bye-bye.